Open world games always been the top tier games on the go, on home consoles or any other platform. Although they take a hell of a lot of time and effort to make, but they offer the most amount of content amongst the rest. Today, I'm going to be showing you some of the better offline and single player open world games to pick up and play for free on your Android and iOS devices as well. Now, starting off on a good note here, at number 1, although not for everyone because of its size, we have over here Gangsta Vegas, World of Crime. Play this if you haven't and want something as good as Grand Theft Auto for free. This game takes a whopping 3 GB of storage, plays offline with a controller if desired, and is even more fun if played online with friends for a little bit of a shift. Has a story, events, and probably the most replay in the list. Coming up behind that, we have a game called X Survive. I don't think I've mentioned this one before. It's a sandbox free world offline building and craft game. Imagine what you'd get if you were to mix the defense system of a game like Fortnite and the previous game we just mentioned and a little bit of Arma, all set in a very futuristic version of our world. X Survive has actually been out for years now. It's still one of the best games on the platform, and its look is quite decent, a lot of potential and great premise as well. For just 300 megabytes, this one offers some of the best visuals on the go. Had you finished San Andreas and would want something more just of the same for free, you might want to go ahead and try Gang's Town Story. It's actually the best substitute you can find on the platform. Has the same graphics and replay with in-game graphical and controller adjustments for different devices, which is always a good thing. It works almost as good as the San Andreas, just a little stiffer, easy to get the hang of, everything is just easy to get and unlock. Honestly, it could be a bit more challenging. Definitely recommended a 10 out of 10.
Weapons free. Happy trails.
Sky Warrior has been around for almost 2 years now, and it's so well made. It is still getting picked up by thousands of new players daily and getting gameplay fixes and updates on a weekly basis. The graphics are pretty good, the gameplay and controls is super easy, great time passer if you wanted something like that, and definitely a guess if you're into games like Ace Combat. I don't know why it doesn't say, but it actually works with Xbox controllers. Quite enjoyable too. I haven't played this one myself yet, but The Wolf is one of the most well-received mobile games of all time, on both platforms as well. This game is rated a 4.8 out of 5, technically speaking the highest rating an open world game has ever received. If you look it up on the Google and the App Store, both, you can find nothing but positive acclaim. Apparently, you have to pay once for offline play, but that seems to pay off as there's no official reported bug whatsoever. With over 100 million downloads, a quick mention over here, something you all can pick up this very moment. This game has been out for a very long time and the absolute #1 substitute for a Grand Theft Auto if you're looking for something like that, with even smoother mechanics, more silly things to do, and set all in a cel-shaded style. It's halfway a zombie apocalypse, an open world, and an adventure that you can play offline or online with your friends in cars, planes, bikes, boats, you name it. Number 7 is the same deal with Rope Hero Vice Town. This game has been downloaded over 100 million times as well, plays offline and works with a controller, both stores right now. If you like superhero rope games, Vice Town is probably the #1 amongst the list of all the Rope Hero games. You probably don't know this, but there's at least 1,000 Rope Hero games on the platform. It's absolutely lovable in gameplay, really fast-paced and fun, with just one downside. It could be a bit long. It's a rather small game and could get repetitive after quite some time. Regarded by half of its players as the #1 zombie shooters they've played ever in their entire life and an offline game, at number 8 we have Zombie Hunter offline games. It's a third and first person almost battle royale in feel that you at some point I believe have to pay for the full game. It's an open world game in nature, has a campaign and gets more challenging the deeper you get into the story mode. Great deal of weapons, so many different zombies and playable both on and offline. So moving on to number 9, we have Deer Simulator, #1 rated free-to-play sim game on the Player Store since its release. This game is a open world adventure, and if you miss out on a formerly PC game that's just as famous as Goat Simulator, I think still the best thing about Deer Sim here is you can play it offline, With the controller, it's about 300 megabytes in total, and it is huge in scale, definitely one of the most fun to play and silly games you'll ever gonna play. Number 10. I'd like to make an honorable mention over here on the second most fun to play open world rope hero style mobile game on the platform. We have Vegas Crime Sim 2. This game is downloaded over 10 million times and rated a 4.4 out of 5. Surprisingly, it's about 150 megabytes only, and one look at the graphics and the sheer amount of content it offers, you will wonder why it's not a 1 gigabyte game. As far as content and addictive play goes, this might as well be the number 1 game in the list. Moving on, we have Hungry Shark Worlds. Not fundamentally an open world game, but a shark life sim, a single player game with open world or free world components. See, Hungry Shark is actually a Ubisoft original. It's one of the most well received and most downloaded mobile games of all time, and also a reimagining of Hungry Shark Evolution. Works offline or online for optional ads and does work with the controller. If you were craving a bit of Red Dead Redemption, also on the go, well, West Gunfighter over here is as close as it can get to Red Dead, and to be quite frank, an even more challenging game in nature. This game has been around for a few good years and has really aged very well. For 300 megabytes, it offers a great world, many different things to do, a lot of missions, and it's quite addicting in gameplay. Plays offline, no buggies, and takes at least a few months until you get bored with it. And at number 13, we have the one and only legendary Real Gangsta Crime. Works with the controller, this one just as good as the first game in the list. You don't just walk around on your feet or on vehicles, there's literally everything to mess around with, be it mech suits, a jetpack, all extremely well made and all let out for just 300 megabytes of storage. Doesn't make sense. This one plays offline, go ahead and use a controller if you want to, you'll have a blast all the way. Number 14, moving on.